You're listening to the Eat 'em Up Pod, your home for Detroit Tigers opinions, discussion, nonsense, and more. Now, here are your hosts, Jordan Hall and Alex Urban.
Welcome to Eat 'em Up. I'm Jordan Hall, joined as always by the Tailgate King of Detroit. It's Alex Urban. Alex, how are you tonight, buddy?
Jordan, I'm doing well. Glad to be talking baseball with you. The boys pulled off the win today, avoided the sweep in Atlanta, so we move. How are you, my friend?
I'm pretty good. The first thing that I want to jump into, your son, you had your first game in Detroit. He got to see Tarek Skubal. How was that experience? What did you guys get up to?
I got to be honest, Jordan, that was such an amazing day for my son and I. I had high expectations. I tried to keep my expectations low, but I just couldn't. And it was a really special day. We got down to the park right around the first inning. Went down to our seats. He was taking everything in. Had a little paws stuffed animal. We had the hot dog, the popcorn, having a great old time. And he made it like 4 strong innings just sitting in the seat where his legs were, barely like sticking out of like the where you actually like sit down on. So that was cool. And Jordan, we had a ball. First ever game. This little son of a gun got a ball. I couldn't believe it.
What was the context?
So there was like 4 or 5 people in front of us who were saying like, "Oh, if a ball comes this way, we're going to give it to your kid." And I was like, "That's very nice of you. Like, you can keep it." And I can't remember if it was either Kerry Carpenter or one of the Brewers players, but just threw it up into the stands at the end of the inning. And like 4 or 5 grown adults are fighting over this ball. One guy comes up with it and hands it to Harrison, my son. And I was like so jazzed. And my son was just, he was excited, but he was also equally, if not more, interested in the popcorn that he had. So it was a little bit lost on him. But still a great day overall. We walked the concourses, did the merry-go-round, did the Ferris wheel, which I got to say, as much as I gripe about the concession prices at Comerica's Park, the Ferris wheel and the merry-go-round are only $2 a pop, Jordan.
Wow, that's surprising. I would have thought a little higher. Maybe that's why we can't afford free agents.
I think so. I was expecting to shell out like 10. So, we got the ice cream and a little baseball cap. We just had a great day. We left in the 8th inning. We didn't get to see the walk-off, but I didn't want to push my luck. At 4 years old, that was a long day already, so we left at the opportune time. But, yeah, we just had a ball. So that was a great memory for the both of us.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's kind of what it's all about, and I'm sure he's young, but like, I don't know, some things stick with us. Like that could be a foundational memory, which is so cool, and getting to share it with the old man.
He's been talking about it, so I know it's stuck, and we got definitely one of those foam tiger claws, which has been a favorite item in the house to terrorize his siblings with for sure already. So in other in-person game news, you went down to Cincinnati to see the boys, Jordan, and Toledo.
Yeah, so my parents were in town for the weekend. They live down in Florida. They flew out for the weekend, and it's kind of like, well, if we stay in South Bend, like, we're just going to sit on the couch. There's nothing to do here. We might as well go somewhere. So took off a little bit early on Friday, went down for the game. It was, you may remember the game. It was when there was the rain delay and then the most painful way to possibly lose a game. It was that one. That being said, we ditched at the rain delay. We parked kind of pretty far uptown and took the trolley in. So we were like, man, if there's any break, that's the only chance we have of staying dry. So we took that. Also, I was pretty sure the game was just going to be over at that point. But that's a cool park. It is in Ohio, as previously mentioned, but it's so close to Kentucky. It's basically just northern Kentucky, so it's fine. And then speaking of Ohio, we stayed the night and then went to the Mud Hens the following day. It's such a it's such an interesting experience. Like it's down in the middle of Toledo, which isn't a town you think of as like super cool, but it's like kind of square in the middle. The Pickle Festival was going on. It was just kind of a fun atmosphere. It was cold, but it was nice. And got to see a bunch of former and then again future Tigers in the form of Emmanuel DeJesus and Jace Young.
New Detroit Tiger / I guess not new Detroit Tiger Jace Young, though.
Yeah. There was one point that I was in my seat and just scanned around, and I saw 5 people not even attempting to hide that they were vaping, which is certainly certainly an experience in a ballpark. At least like show the ushers some courtesy and like pretending that you're not doing that. But to each their own.
Yeah, that's not cool. I got to back up for a second, Jordan. The Pickle Festival. Are you a big pickle guy?
I would say that I would take or leave pickles. We didn't get in the midst of the Pickle Festival, so I can't say that I know like the extent of what happens at the Pickle Festival. But there's little gherkins everywhere.
You didn't get caught in a pickle.
I'm sure plenty of people got caught in a pickle with sipping plenty of that pickle juice. It appeared to be that appeared to be the primary focus of the specific event. But a lot of events go that way.
Sure. I like a good pickle. I like a gherkin. I like a dill pickle. I actually tried, I believe it was Jimmy John's had a pickle sandwich where instead of the bread, it was the meat sandwiched between 2 pickles. And I was underwhelmed, Jordan. There was too much pickle to sandwich ratio, if I can be honest, for the price. That's my opinion on the pickle sandwich.
Interesting. That would be like, for the pickle to be large enough to be the bread in that situation, it would have to be a lot of pickle. I can see how it would get there.
It was a lot of pickle.
Speaking of pickle, let's talk some ball. You ready?
Let's talk ball, Jordan.
All right. So we originally planned to record on Tuesday, and we were going to talk a lot about the Cincinnati series. Fortunately or unfortunately, there's been another series that's crushed our soul since then. So let's start in the Atlanta series, and then maybe we can work our way back. It was our first real test against a really good team. I would say that there was certainly some ups, some things that they did very well, and then a couple games that got away, especially the walk-off to Matt Olson. Overall takeaway from 3 games against a pretty good team.
Surprisingly positive, Jordan. I thought that they could have easily and should have taken 2 out of 3. In that series, the first game they kind of got walloped a little bit. Definitely some areas of concern for me, but I didn't think they looked as bad as maybe losing 2 out of 3 did. They, I guess, easily could have got swept too, today. But I thought they hit the ball well. I thought they played a little cleaner than they usually did. My biggest takeaway, I guess, from the whole series was Kenley Jansen might be an issue. But that Framber Valdez is that guy also.
Yeah, definitely. Let's start with the first game of the series. What was it? Tuesday night game, because I think that's where my big takeaway is from. That was the game when Casey Mize got pulled from what are we saying, a groin injury? Is that where we landed?
Yes, yeah, he pulled groin without the.
And then Javi hit the IL with lower body. I don't know, somewhere leg.
Strange
ankle.
play. It's a really strange play.
Strange. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. It was a strange play. It's gonna sound stupid, but like it kind of felt like the marker was set down in the last game of the Red series. Kind of got that big win that we needed. Like, all right, Reds are a good team. We dropped 2 and we're coming back on Sunday. And then Casey got hurt, Javi got hurt, and it felt like, oh man, like, is this like what is going on here?
Yeah, was really excited to see Casey take the bump the way that he's been throwing this season, and just what a gut punch that he had to leave the game. Obviously, the Tigers are growing thin on the pitching side of the ball. We have no idea what's happening with Justin Verlander, but that stinks, and you hope that he's not on the IL long. But all of that said, Jordan, one thing I did want to point out is Brant Herter, I thought, looked spectacular being thrown into the fire in relief of Casey Mize unexpectedly. 2.2 innings pitched, no hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 1 strikeout, Jordan. And I thought it was tremendous. We got to see a little bit of Birch Smith, he had some mixed results. Birch Tree Smith, 2 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. And then Tyler Holton, Jordan, I have no idea what's happening with him. 1 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, and 1 strikeout, but he just can't keep the ball in the ballpark. And from a guy who received a MVP vote in 2024, this is a far cry from the pitcher that he looked like before to me.
Yeah, I spent some time looking into Tyler Holton this week, as one does, who has apparently zero hobbies other than the Tigers. So his walk rate has jumped 10% from last year to this year. The K percent is down 6, but like I don't even necessarily think it's just the walks. Like he's just not hitting spots. You know, he's never been a guy that overpowers you with stuff. Like, you know, the great hope for every pitcher that doesn't throw hard is like you don't have to miss a bat, you need to miss a barrel. And he was the chief guy when it came to that, like just missing the sweet spot by, you know, a quarter of an inch, and all of a sudden that's a pop up or a rollover. It is not that at this point. His hard hit percentage is up 11% on last year when he was okay. He wasn't what he was the year before. It keeps going up. Like, not to sound doomerism on Tyler, because like he started the year pretty decent, and we've mentioned many times he's the straw that stirs that bullpen drink. But like, if he doesn't hit spots, like I don't think there's a whole lot of reason to think he's going to turn it around. Not saying he won't, just that is his bread and butter. Like he's got to start commanding some of these pitches, or it's going to be really hard to use him in any like high leverage situations, which sucks because we want to use him in all high leverage situations.
Yeah, no, well said. I mean, he's a guy that doesn't have the velocity to back up his pitches, so he can't make mistakes, and he has made a lot of mistakes recently in this season. Agree, he had a really good start to the season, actually, but he is a liability if he's not hitting his spots. He's either walking too many guys, as you mentioned, or just getting absolutely shelled, and it's disappointing to see. I mean, relievers are so fickle. We say all the time, you know, you can't necessarily have momentum from one season to the other, but I guess I fell into the trap of just assuming he was going to be good forever. And we are seeing some of the things that we were concerned about last year with him. And until he straightens it out, I completely agree that he can't be a guy that's thrown into high leverage, because we've seen what can happen. And they've already thrown quite a few games away this year because of the guys just not being able to hold it down in the bullpen. They could be a 20-win team right now. I think it's like 6 or 7 games that they've absolutely coughed up at the end. And it's concerning because they need some of these guys who are not named Vest, Finnegan, or Jansen, and we're going to get into that last one in a little bit here. They need to rise to the occasion and fill their role because they don't have a lot of other guys in the upper minors who can do that. At least it's yet to be seen.
Yeah, just some quick back of the napkin math. Before this, coming into the season, he threw in 195 games over his previous 3 years. There's a chance that we just burned him out. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. There is a chance that, and I wouldn't necessarily change the way we used him. It got us to the playoffs 2 years in a row. Like, without him being a pretty key cog, I don't think that happens. But I mean, not to be too down, but like sometimes when it goes for relievers, it just goes. That being said, he is somebody that I root for like massively as a alum of being a slop throwing lefty. That, you know, that's always the kind of guy I root for, and he still is somebody that I'm like, when he comes into the game, I perk up now because I'm really curious to see what it looks like. Man, his batting average against right now is 321 on the season. Guys are almost as good against him as McGonigal is against everyone else. That's not great.
Not great, Bob. Not great at all. Did you go ahead?
One more thought on that game. I know this is crazy because every team has to do this, but when I see somebody like Martin Perez just like dice up the Tigers, I almost just kind of throw it away. Like, of course we're going to lose that game. We always get torn up by guys like him. And when you couple that with the weird injury to the starter, Javi getting hurt, like, I don't know. I have a hard time being too awfully concerned with that, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense. It makes me think of the name Bruce Chen with the Royals back in the day.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Randy
Tigers
Wolf.
could never do anything with these kind of guys. So I'm with you. That was a game that they kind of definitely flushed, and then they go into the next, and things look positive until the very end.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's incorrect to say they should have won that game. Like, and then it would have been 2 out of 3 against the best record in baseball. But
yeah,
you got to get all 27. That's the problem.
That's true. Scooble looked unscooblian, in my opinion, Jordan. That's so funny to say because he went gave up 2 earned runs, but had 7 strikeouts and no walks. 5 hits, though. Finnegan, I thought, looked really good. He's continued to look really good this season, other than the walks. 1 innings pitched, no hits, no earned runs, 2 walks. And then Kenley Jansen, Jordan. No innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 earned runs, gives up the big fly to Matt Olson, and unfortunately, I feel like I saw it coming, Jordan. I did sprinkle a little bit of emotional hedge money on the Atlanta money line and got paid out.
I will say, you have an excellent knack for that specific thing. Anytime you text me that you're doing it, I usually hop on board because it's usually right. But yeah, no, I kind of agree. I don't know exactly where that feeling came from, but it did kind of feel like it was coming. It's one of those that you like. Of course, it was not that he's the only good hitter on the team. Obviously, it's a very talented team, but of course, it's Matt Olson in that situation, and he does what he did.
What do you think it is with Kenley Jansen, Jordan? Because last year he only gave up. I think the Tigers game where they rocked him was the only blown save he had all season, and I think he has 5. And before you answer that question, I do want to call out, and we talked about this a little bit before, Jerry McAdam on Twitter pulled up something I found very interesting on Twitter. He said, I see some defending of the Jansen signing, which you and I were both fans of at the time.
Yeah, definitely.
And he wanted to point out a few things about his season last year at the Angels. Kenley Jansen last season had a career worst K percentage, hard hit rate allowed, fastball percentage. His FIP was second worst, and his BABIP was significantly lower than his average. Jerry's saying the writing is on the wall. How much do you buy into that, and how much do you buy into this is just a little bit of a rocky start?
I feel like it's going to be a cop-out, but I think I'm going to walk the line. I don't want at all to say that I don't think that he is declining. Guys don't typically get better at his age. They typically slowly get worse. That being said, I don't know that I necessarily think that, like, blowing all kinds of saves is his future at this point. Like, I think that he is probably a league average to slightly below league average closer. Do I think Will Vest probably is a better closer? Yes. That being said, I wouldn't necessarily, like, you can use Vest in couple different roles, whereas like Kenley, I want him throwing 1 inning, 1 clean inning. So it kind of pigeonholes him into being the closer. Long way of saying, I don't necessarily think that him being a slightly below average big league closer is like our biggest problem. Nobody else in the bullpen being able to get outs, that is a pretty big problem. But yeah, I do think that that what we saw from him last year probably was like, we probably, like Jerry says, we probably should have seen it coming. Like, that's not exactly what we were getting. But if we get 3/4 of that, I think we'll get our money's worth. I just think that we have bigger problems than him being like not an elite closer, if that makes sense. What do you think?
It does. Yeah, it absolutely does. I think yesterday from the show account I tweeted, it gave me shades of like Troy Percival, Joe Nathan, Francisco Rodriguez, and the Tigers just can't help themselves when signing these aging closers. But at the same time, I think it will probably even out a little bit. I don't think this is going to be just an absolute train wreck where it just falls apart. I think there's something to what you're saying, Jordan. He's probably going to continue to have a few blown saves throughout the season, but he's also going to continue to hold it down more often than not, if I had to guess. And there's not going to be a situation where you're playing the hottest team in baseball and one of the better players on that team every night in a closed situation. So that's kind of where I'm with it. I'm not ready to hit the panic button just yet. It was certainly concerning. Another question for you. Do you think there's a scenario where Hinch uses him anywhere outside of the ninth?
I don't. I think I guess that's not true. The one area I think that it could happen is like continued poor performance if he gets pulled from the job and like kind of has to rehab in like the not long relief, because he'll obviously only go an inning, but in low leverage situations, the Connor Siebold role, something like that. But I think as long as he is relatively fit and firing, yeah, I think he's just going to be the closer. Because I don't know. I don't see AJ ever going to like this is my 8th inning guy and this is my 9th inning guy. Like, I just don't see that. And those are kind of the only 2 times that you would see somebody like exclusively come in with a clean inning. So I think it's going to be the 9th, for better or worse. You?
No, I totally agree with you. I think for as much as we've talked about A.J. Hinch deploying his bullpen in the most important spots of the game, Kenley Jansen was signed as a 9th inning guy, and he's going to continue to get opportunities. I think it was good that Finnegan got the ball tonight in Atlanta to give him a little bit of a breath and a little bit of a reset. But I think, unless things truly do implode, they're going to continue to force feed Jansen in the 9th.
I have a little bit of a theory I want to run by you, and it kind of pertains to Kenley here. I think that the way things are shaking out, we're very much in a long game situation. Like if you look at the division, we're up in it. At the time that I was looking at, we had the second best run differential in the AL. I kind of doubt we're there still, but if we're being real about the situation, the division sucks, and we will almost certainly be in the playoffs. So I feel like I'm looking more at trends than I am any individual game. You know what I mean? And like the goal for the bullpen is to enter October with 6 bare minimum, maybe 8 like reliable relievers. And if Kenley is not as great now, to save a little in the tank for October, like I think I can live with that. Like I know it's a very long season, weird stuff can happen, and you have to win the games to get into the playoffs. Like that is 100% true. But I have no doubt in my mind that if Kenley was pitching the 9th inning in Game 1 of the AL Division Series, he would have better stuff than if he were to close out a game tomorrow, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Like I mean, we're not a very reactionary pod to begin with, and I feel like I'm somewhat even less reactionary to things like this than usual, just because like if we play slightly above 500 ball, we're going to go to the playoffs. Like that's just kind of the reality of it to me. So I'm looking, like I said, more like trends than individual performances, and like I don't know. I'm just not worried when it comes to Kenley, because I'm pretty sure it'll be there when it matters. Long aside, feel free to pick that apart. I know I just sprung that on you.
No, I don't think so at all. I mean, the question I ask is how often is he going to serve up like a blue ribbon prize-winning meatball in like one of the most important moments of the game? And I go back to, I don't think it's going to be perfect. He's a 38-year-old pitcher who has a lot of wear on the arm, but there's also going to be nights where he shuts it down. I mean, we saw it earlier in the season, and where is the truth? Probably somewhere in the middle. So agree with you there. I'm not ready to hit panic just yet, but I am certainly taking notes because they are, as much as I agree with you in terms of playing above 500 ball, close to, we're still going to make the playoffs. They can't continue to give away winnable games, especially
definitely
at the end, because that is how you dig yourself into a hole. And it takes, one of these other not great AL Central teams to get on a little bit of a hot streak, and then you're chasing them for the rest of the season, right? And that's what nobody wants. So,
and I also think it can kill morale if that happens too, which isn't going to help anything. Yeah,
absolutely. So I'm with you. Just something to keep tabs on for sure. But you hope the guy can get it going, and he's a professional, right? He's had a lot of innings in his career, so you hope that he can work it out mentally and physically.
Yeah. Let's jump ahead to today's game. We're recording on Thursday evening after the Tigers won 5-2 in the getaway day game against the Braves. It's not for me so much that we won this game. It's that I kind of thought we had lost it, and then we came back and won it. It would have been very, very easy to just kind of pack it in, but they didn't. You know what I mean? Like the Atlanta scored early. Like the game kind of, it could have gotten away. Just when you count out the whole like gritty Tigers thing, it just won't die, and that gives me so much hope.
I mean, you texted me earlier, that feels significant once they got that rally going. I think it was in the 8th, and I couldn't agree more. When you count this team out, they continue to surprise us, which goes against everything that we've said in the recent weeks about them not having that fire in their belly or not having
really
the emotion.
does.
But it is nice to see, because this is a team a couple years ago, Jordan, I remember thinking, like, they're a never-say-die team. You can never really count them out. They're always going to give you 27 outs, and that's what we saw today. And what really was pleasing to me was that Matt Vierling was really the catalyst for a lot of this. He went 3 for 5 with 2 runs, 2 RBI. But there was also some other guys who were contributors in this game that you wouldn't necessarily think so. Kerry Carpenter hasn't been swinging it well, but he had that triple where the center fielder absolutely bounced off the wall. Hao-Yu Lee with 2 walks in the game. Riley with 2 walks in the game and a hit. Gleyber Torres is finally starting to come around, Jordan, which really excites me, because I think we have yet to see this team play the best baseball that they can. And I'm not a strength of schedule guy at all, but for any of those people that are, I did see today that the Tigers have a very favorable, amongst all the teams in the league, strength of schedule for the rest of the way. Again, I don't technically believe in it, because I think things are so fickle and can change to the drop of a hat. There's hot streaks in baseball. But if you're a believer in that, they haven't played their cleanest, best baseball yet, and the level of competition theoretically is going to be less. So that's why I look at a game like this, and I'm like, these are the kind of games that you look back on and you're like, that really helped propel them to the playoffs when you're at the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. That was kind of my thought in watching it. Obviously, we will find out. But yeah, like you say, some of the odd guys out. Not that Carpenter is that, but that triple to start the rally, like, that was huge. That kind of was that bolt of lightning that came from nowhere, from being out of the game to, like, oh well, dang, we're right in this. And like you say, Framber Valdez was that dude, gave up the runs early, and I'm just so impressed with him. Like, he is such a efficiency machine, outside of the game that we saw in Cincinnati. It's hard to speak highly enough of him. He is such a, like, he's not sexy. He's not doing the Scooble thing where he's not. I mean, he struck out 8 guys today, but he's not striking out 10 every time out. He just gets outs, and that's, I don't know. I mean, we're baseball dorks. That's the kind of thing that, like, I get excited about.
Yeah, and in addition to the strikeouts, Jordan, I think I heard on the radio he had like 20 whiffs. Like, he had a lot of swing and miss today, which for a pitcher who's primarily a ground ball pitcher was really good to see. 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 0 walks, which had been a problem in the last start a bit, and 8 strikeouts. Jordan, do you know who got the win today in terms of the Tigers pitchers?
Oh, was it my boy Drew?
Sure was. Drew Anderson with the win. 2 innings
Drew's
pitched,
starting to look a little better. Yeah.
Getting a little comfortable. 1 hit, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. Then, of course, Finnegan locks it down with 1 innings pitched, 1 hit, and 1 strikeout. Yeah,
Drew is, I mean, I talk about Drew Anderson more than anybody wants to hear. I fully acknowledge that. But yeah, Drew's looked a lot better with his command. I kind of think you're right. Like, I think it's a lot of just being a little bit more comfortable. He's over his last, what is this, like 5 2/3. He's just given up the 1 homer. That's what you're supposed to do. But he is starting to look like more of a key piece of that bullpen. You know how I feel about my boy. I would be interested to see if they try to stretch him out to at least be the bulk guy for the spot vacated by Casey Mize. To me, he's the most likely, or maybe the most the guy that I'd most like to see that. Obviously, I think Brant Herter would be in that conversation too. But, like, do you want to take him out of high leverage roles when he's one of the only guys that can get outs? So yeah, I'm assuming it'll be kind of a piggyback between him and DeJesus, but I am curious to see what that'll end up shaking out like.
Yeah, me too, Jordan. And I'm glad you brought up Brant Herter. This is from Joe Ramp on Twitter. 291 MLB pitchers have thrown 120 or more innings since 2024. Brant Herter's 2.43 ERA in that span is tied for 11th best in baseball, tied with Mason Miller. I mean, as much as we've said this guy can absolutely lose the control and hit a bunch of guys, like he has been very reliable. And to your point, like it's a little bit of a toss-up. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Do you stretch him out and put him in the rotation, or do you just keep him and kind of ride the hot hand in the bullpen? But it is going to be interesting to see what they do next. I did see, and this is a ways away, Jordan, our boy Troy Melton is throwing on the backfields in Lakeland, and he will probably be back at the end of this coming month in May.
That would be huge. Assuming we get the level of pitching that we're used to, that would be such a shot in the arm for this pitching staff. I mean, honestly, no matter how you use him, starter, reliever, whatever, I think that would be a massive addition, and just wish good health and speedy recovery for our guy, because he's young and we want him to be in it for the long haul.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait for him to come back. I think it's like May 25th. Don't quote me on the exact date, but that's when he's eligible to come off. So you're hoping that if the stars align, he can get some rehab innings under his belt and come right back up. Jordan, I did want to ask you about Justin Verlander.
Mm-hmm.
There has been no news since he was put on the, I believe, 15-day injured list at the beginning of April. Slightly concerning to me that there's not news about a throwing progression, really updates about his health at all, any inkling about a potential rehab assignment. I'm going to throw you a complete curveball, and this could be sacrilegious, but I hate to say it's starting to give me Alex Cobb vibes.
Yeah, I've had that same thought too. I mean, obviously that's kind of where all of our heads are going to go. Old pitcher, like injury. I mean, that's kind of the inevitable comp. I mean, yeah, it certainly could be. I don't know that we're in that being the most likely outcome situation yet. I hope that we don't get to that, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that's off the table. I will say, like, I don't know. This is going to sound super cheesy, so I will fully cop to that. Anytime you see him, like, dugout shot, it does look like he's kind of engaging with some of the pitchers. Like, I silly thought he was, like, a spiky character. Which I think he might be, but, like, I don't know. I do think there's some value in him being around the team. Obviously not, like, whatever we're paying him value that we pay him to pitch, but in a young team, specifically with the pitchers, like, I don't know. I'm not sure there's anything wrong with having him around, but yeah, yeah, we're not too panic time, but like I can see it off in the distance.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say on the positive note, and this is going back to something you said, Jordan, earlier, they don't need him right now. And if it's a case of they're just taking it really careful so that he can have more in the tank for the end of the season, I'm all for it. Like, he's in his early to mid 40s. You know, this is probably one of, if not his last season in the majors. So if they don't, and the pitching is thin right now, I'd much rather have him than not. But all of that said, like, if he just needs more time to get right, and they are expecting him to come back, and I think hopefully that they are, it's okay. Like, take the time, allow him to get right and fully get right so he doesn't have to go back on the injured list after one start or two starts or something like that. And take your time with it. That is my hope ultimately, but I'm really hoping for an update here sooner than later.
Yeah, definitely. So I did look. It looks like Evan Woodbury tweeted out the injury report on Tuesday, and he has completed a bullpen session. So for what that's worth, I'm sure Alex Cobb threw a lot of bullpen sessions last year. So going back to the Cincy series, feels like a little bit of ancient history at this point. Any game you specifically want to like talk about, or any points before we move on to like Torque and Riley and all that kind of stuff?
Very quickly, Friday they blew the 5-0 lead. I thought Framber looked good, but off 5 walks, so it was really nice to see him shake that off. This is the game that you went to.
So it appeared that he was fighting with the mound the entire game. I don't know exactly what his deal with, but he was constantly like digging out, just kind of like fiddling. And I haven't seen him enough. Maybe that is just kind of what he does all the time. But it did seem like he was uncomfortable. take that for what it's worth. And like you say, he bounced back pretty good today. So hopefully the command issues are behind him, because the 5 walks was very, very weird. Anyway, continue.
The only other takeaway from that game, other than the bullpen imploding following the rain delay, was homers from Carey, Riley, Torkelson, and Javier Baez, and they still lost the game. I think
so
that could be the only time that we could say 4 of those guys homer in a game that they lose. So that was my big takeaway. It was a weird one after the rain delay. Saturday's game, another story of Jekyll and Hyde. Jack Flaherty, plainly not good, Jordan. 2 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks. What are we seeing with Jack Flaherty? I think I'm fascinated to see his next start. But if he has another really poor outing, Jordan, is it too early to make a significant move? An example being move to long relief once some of these other pitchers that we mentioned come back, or a phantom injured list stint?
Yeah, that was the one that I had my eye on. Is maybe he's got like a strained calf or a slate blister. I don't know. I'm not sure that he's the kind of guy that like 10 days to clear his head fixes it, but it certainly can't hurt. Like you say, I will be very, very curious to watch his next start, but I think you hit the nail on the head with your tweet when you said that you think we have a Jack problem, because I too think we have a Jack problem at this point. I don't know. What do you think? Like, what if he throws poorly again? What do you think happens?
I think he gets 2 more starts, and I was thinking about this all week, debating between 1 or 2. And let's say both of those starts go considerably poorly, and more than just like he goes 5 innings and gives up 3 earned runs or 4 or something like that. If he has that's at this point like a typical Jack start. Yeah, right. But if he continues to implode, I think that they will move him to long relief. I agree with you. I don't know if like time away is necessarily going to help him, especially knowing that he's a little bit of a head case guy. But I am going to be really interested to see how they play, because they can't continue to run into a loss with him on the mound, and that's what it's looked like lately.
Yeah, and unfortunately the Casey situation, I mean, we don't know his time frame, but like that's kind of compounds this situation. I was looking at some of his numbers this week too. So I'm just going to throw these out there, and you can analyze. But he's had real problems this year against left-handed hitting. He's giving up an on-base percentage against a .431 with a .921 OPS against lefties, 15 walks in 67 plate appearances, which by my math is a little short of a quarter. It feels like a guy that's primed for having his spots picked a little more. Now, obviously, he'd be a very expensive reliever, but if he can avoid lefties, maybe we can avoid some of these, bigger innings. Also, just to fan the flames a little bit more, 4.24 ERA in innings 1 through 3, 7.56 after.
They do need a long reliever, Jordan, or let's say at least they could use a few different options. So I don't hate the idea for sure.
Yeah, I like you. I am waiting with bated breath for his next start, because it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, certainly. Let's talk a little positively though, Jordan. Sunday's game had to have it. Kerry Bonds hit a double with the bases loaded in the first. Feels like the first big bases loaded hit since the Jimmy Carter administration to me. Katie Montero, Jordan, quietly solid again. 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 hits, 2 walks, 5 Ks. He struck out Ellie 3 times. And another takeaway from that game, Nathaniel Lowe just had the Tigers' number. He walked him off on Friday. Homered in 3 state games. But Jordan, Hao-Yu Lee, how you doing? First home run puts the Tigers up in the top of the 7. I was going nuts. He was going nuts. Just what a moment for that kid. I mean, he almost lapped Gleyber Torres on the bases, and you know funny. That I just adored that. I was so happy for the kid. He was fired up, and I love to see it. That was, I believe, his Torkelson's also homered shortly thereafter. That was his 5th straight game homering, tying the franchise record. He didn't hit in 6. And then Gleyber talked a little bit earlier about getting some power back in the bat, and Apo Taco in the top of the 8th. Really nice to see it hit the ball hard. So Tigers win 8-3. But a lot to like in that game. It was a very feel-good game for me.
Yeah, I really liked that they scored early. It felt like it kind of took the edge off, at least for us as fans. I'm assuming that it probably did for them. The lead didn't like hold, but at least they were in it at that point. I did want to point out, I believe last year when we played the Reds at Comerica, Ellie hit a homer in each of the 3 games of the series. And then this year, Nathaniel Lowe did it. So it seems inevitable at this point that whenever we play the Reds, somebody is going to hit a homer in each of the 3 games against us. So that's not great.
Yeah. Well, luckily we won't have to see them until the World Series, so they got a lot of time to do some scouting. Let's talk a little bit about Torque and Riley, Jordan. Torkelson has been on somewhat of a heater, obviously 5 home runs in 5 consecutive games, but he's been hitting the ball better. Riley, though, and these numbers are from earlier in this week, so they have changed, but quite on the hot streak. One of the best offensive players in the American League. He's hitting, again, these might be a little dated, but largely the same, 301 average, 400 on base, and an 866 OPS in the season. His last 15 games or so, he was hitting 408, 508, 673 slugging with 10 walks and 15 strikeouts. The strikeouts have not been a conversation at all this year, Jordan, and the power has finally showed up, and I think he is trending to match his last season totals for homers the way that he's picked it up recently.
Yeah, I don't want to say this too loudly because he's such a streaky player, but he's kind of being the hitter we hoped he would be this year. Like we spent a lot of time over the offseason, even down the stretch last year, saying that this was going to be a big year for him, and we didn't know what kind of hitter he was going to eventually be. He's kind of turned into the guy that we want. His strikeout numbers are a little down. His walk numbers are up. His batting average is up significantly. And like you say, the home run total hasn't been there, but his OPS right now is sitting 45 points higher than it was last year. Like, we think of last year as this massive power year, which it was. He is on pace for a much better power year this year. I don't know that I necessarily think that he's ever going to be a complete player, do it 162 times a year. It's always going to come in bunches when it happens, but the kind of player that we were hoping he was going to mature into, he kind of has, at least for the moment.
Yes, amen, Jordan. And do you think that we see this Spencer Torkelson the rest of the way, or is he also going to be a player that we gripe about and then praise, gripe about, praise?
Yeah, I think that one. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I tend to agree. I think he is always going to have people that want to dog on him at every opportunity, right? Like, there was expectations with the number 1 overall pick, and I have worked myself to completely push that out of my mind. So I just try to look at him like a player, but it's hard not to, right? Like, we thought we were getting a modern Barry Bonds, and it just hasn't turned out to be the case.
Only. Yeah, and I think that's a big deal. Like, he is not going to win an MVP. When you take a guy 1-1, you assume that is in the range of outcomes. That is gone. He is never going to win the MVP. But if he can play a reasonable first base, which he does, just watch Colt Keith there, and you'll see how decent Torque is. And he hits 25 at hitting like 7 or 8 in the order. Like, that is a cog in a winning team, and I think that is the takeaway at this point in his career.
Well said, Jordan. Very, very well said.
Sure.
We've talked a lot about the bullpen tonight. Are you ready to give away some Tiger King crowns?
Yeah, let's do it. You go first. I feel like I always go first. It's your team.
Hao-Yu Lee gets mine for obvious reasons, Jordan. After a really tough debut in Boston, he has started to come around a little bit. I don't ever think he's going to be a positive defender, but he has looked the part at the plate to me. He hasn't set the world on fire by any means, but he has come up with some decent knocks, and obviously that big hit in the home run. And how can you not be romantic about baseball when watching that home run?
Truly.
Plain and simple for me. So he gets my crown this week. How about you?
That's great. So it's not quite as clean as it would have been earlier in the week, but I'm giving mine to Torque. The home run streak is kind of split between 2 weeks, but my man hit a homer in 5 straight games. You get my crown if that is the case. Like we just said, his production is spotty. So when you see it, note it, remember it, and enjoy it.
I love it. So our current standings for Tiger King Crown Champion, Cater Montero still leading the pack with 2. Hao-Yu Lee 1, Spencer Torkelson 1, Jemai Jones 1, Colt Keith 1, Kevin McGonigal 1, Connor Siebold 1, and listener Travis 1.
Travi.
Weekly preview time, Jordan. I still have the Atlanta games. That's how long ago we did the show sheet here. Let's talk just about the next 3 as the Texas Rangers come to town. What is your prediction for the Rangers series?
I think I'm going to go 2-1. It's mostly just based on actually. So who will be pitching in this series? I mean,
Jack
one of them is going to be Jack, so that that limits how optimistic I'm willing to be. All right, just hanging tight here. Let's see. It appears that it will be Flaherty, Montero, and then the spot start. Yikes. I don't care. I'm going to be positive 2-1.
I'm going to take 2-1 as well. I think that Jack Flaherty probably gets roughed up again. I think you see another great game out of Cato Montero, and then pitching chaos makes a friendly appearance, and they take the rare. It must be on Sunday Night Baseball or something. 7:20 p.m. on Sunday.
Gotcha. I've got a little bit of a prediction for you. I think Jack pulls one out of his butt.
Ooh.
I think Jack gets the win. I think he throws maybe not like a gem, but I bet he gets a quality start. I feel like he is just kooky enough that is what will happen. So, give me 2-1 with Jack getting a dub.
I love it. I want to go down on the farm quickly, Jordan.
Very quickly, because I forgot to put anything in here.
No, I did as well. The big highlights this week is Max Anderson is on a rehab assignment, I believe in Lakeland, along with our friend Zach McKinstry, who is sorely needed, by the way. The Tigers are very thin at the shortstop position. Specifically, I think McKinstry is McGonigal is the only natural shortstop on the roster right now. And if there was, God forbid, an injury to him, they would be in trouble because I think Hao-Yu Lee is the break glass in case of emergency shortstop, which I don't think any of us want to see.
I think they'd be more likely to get Donnie in from Pittsburgh and throw him at short before letting Hao-Yu Lee play up the middle. But yeah, I agree. We need Zach back in the worst way. Not that I don't want to see Jace up. I was curious what would happen, but McKinstry makes so much more sense up there than Jace at this point.
Yeah. Ricky Vanasco Jordan. He is a righty in AAA Toledo right now, a relief pitcher. If you guys don't know the name, you might have heard him, but he was a 2017 Texas Rangers draft pick in the 15th round. He has a 0 ERA in Toledo in 15 innings, Jordan. He's got 3 saves down there, 28 strikeouts, and a 0.80 whip.
Yeah, we actually saw him on Saturday, whatever day it was that we were there. Time all runs together. Really nice changeup. That was not what I was expecting. I was expecting him to be like 98, come and hit it. It was more like 94, 95 with a little bit of run. Throw him into that clubhouse and just like let him watch Scooble throw his changeup, and I it's kind of one of those like watching Miggy take batting practice makes you a better hitter. I'm interested. Like, I would rather have had him come up than Hannafy. Like, I feel like we know what Hannafy is. Obviously, Hannafy on the 40-man makes it easier. I can't imagine that we don't see him before July 1st, if not June 1st. Like, I definitely think he'll be in that pen sooner rather than later.
I mean, he's got to be wondering what he has to do to make this club. He literally cannot be better right now. So maybe they just want to wait and see, but that is the guy that I want to see next for a bullpen call.
Yeah, for sure.
Max Clark has cooled off a little bit in the last few weeks. You were there when he broke, I think, an 0-for-14 slump. But Jordan's still on the young season. He's hitting .290 with a .371 on base and a .792 OPS. What did you see in young Max Clark in your trip to Toledo?
Yeah, I don't want to like pass too awfully much judgment. I saw 4 at bats, but he pounded into the ground each of the 4 times. He was able to beat one out because he's incredibly fast. I don't know. It didn't seem like he looked particularly comfortable in the box, but I mean, it was one game, so I didn't necessarily have a whole lot of takeaways. Also, he can absolutely fly in the outfield, which we all knew, but it is true and is even more impressive in person. So that's what I got for you.
Do you think and I want to go on the record and say I think it's great for his development that he's facing some adversity down there. He was lighting the world on fire, and I think he is going to come back stronger from going through a little bit of a cold streak. Now, do you think it's a little bit of pitchers figuring him out, or this is just, the ebbs and flows of what's going on down there?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a little bit of guys figuring him out. That being said, I don't know. I'm not sure how much the book gets passed around AAA. I mean, I could be completely wrong about that, but I mean, it could just be the vagaries of a AAA season. I know Scotty always says that he wants to see guys dominate levels. To me, he's ready, but nobody pays me to evaluate baseball. So,
Fair enough. You want to get into some listener questions, Jordan?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Our buddy Litzner on Twitter, he wants to know, in regard to the big-name prospects still in the minors, do we see the organization signing contracts extensions like they did with McGonigal, or was his just a one-off? Great question.
What do you think?
I could see Max getting it, but he would be the only one, and it is a big maybe for me right now. I think that the other guys, like Briseño, and obviously the injury hurts him quite a bit. I think it's way too early for any of the other guys. Constantly, for Bryce Rayner, I think way too early for him. Jordan Yost is not that kind of a prospect. So I'm going to say I think it's a one-off. I think it's just McGonigal.
Yeah, I think you're right. I would, if I were Scotty, I would try to lock something down with Max, in almost like what they did with Colt Keith. Obviously, not giving him 150 like he did to McGonigal. I think we've seen enough from Max to make it worthwhile. That being said, I'm not going to be up in arms if they just play it straight. So, but yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think Max is the only person in that conversation.
Brendan on Reddit. Brendan, thank you for the question. He says, why do we think the record is so much better at home than away this year? Is it just luck, the fans, or does Comerica Park suit the offense?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. I genuinely don't have a theory. Do you?
I think it is a coincidence. I don't think there's any reason behind it, other than they've largely... One of the last couple of years, this was not the case, but largely in my fandom, they have played well at home. I've never seen something like as bad as they've been on the road this year, but I also think it's not as bad as it looks. I think they've coughed up a lot of late leads. It's not like they're just getting hammered every time they go on the road.
They've also played some very not great teams at home. They played the Cards, the Marlins, the Royals. The Brewers were obviously a scrappy team, but they're not. I mean, they're a good team. I don't want to poo-poo, but we have played much better teams on the road, which could conceivably play into that as well.
Sure. Andrew, a.k.a. Back Porch View on Twitter, he wants to know, would Jack Flaherty be better suited in a bullpen role? He hasn't been consistently good for the Tigers since 2024. We talked a little bit about this earlier. Yes, and not to belabor it, give him 2 more starts. If it does not look better, that is the move I would hope they would make.
Yeah, same.
Cool. And finally, Alan Abbs on Blue Sky. He says the last time he got a Tigers jersey, his wife got him a Matt Manning jersey for his birthday, and it came a week before his first of many injuries. Woof. Sorry, Alan. He says, should I get another? Is there a ritual I should perform to make sure he's not bad luck?
Well, you're the ritual guy here. I'm actually very curious to see what you have to say.
I think you should get a Kevin McGonigal jersey, Alan, because at least he is long for the club, good, bad, or indifferent. And I think you should wear the jersey in as they win and wash it every time they lose.
Okay, I like that.
That's
that
what I
seems
do
good.
with my McKinstry jersey. And it's not like I'm wearing it all day, every day. I put it on for the game at home. I'm not working out, just sitting on my couch. They win the game, hang it back up. They lose, I throw it in the wash.
That's a good idea. Can I, are we in the trust tree? Can I share a secret with you?
Yeah, it's just you, me, and the listeners.
I've never washed my Fetter jersey. Literally never.
How often are you wearing it?
I primarily only wear it 2 games, and I usually have like either a shirt or a sweatshirt or something under it. Like it's never like jersey to skin.
Sure.
So it's not like it really gets dirty, but yeah, I've literally never washed it. I'm sure at this point I probably should. So I'm
not
a
knocking
disgusting creature. So
No, not at all. I'm a little bit of a messy boy, so when I wear the jerseys to the stadium, there's always like a fleck of mustard coming home with me or something like that. So I will say, regardless of the outing, usually if I'm wearing it to the stadium, it's getting into the wash.
Yeah, I probably should. That seems like a good like hygienic practice, but I have clearly not followed.
No, you do you, Jordan. Fight the man.
Thanks. The man is big washing machine in this
Yeah,
instance?
that's right.
Yeah.
That's it for this week, Jordan. Always a pleasure. Always fun to talk ball with you and the listeners. Anything for the good of the order before we sign off tonight?
I don't think so. Kentucky Derby is this weekend.
Yeah, that's your thing.
It's one of people always say the biggest horse race. It probably is. Yeah, it's exciting. Hoping that my guy Irad brings it home this year. That's a jockey, not a horse. But yeah, my favorite jockey. I tend to root more for jockeys than horses, but yeah, it's a good time. And if you have any betting questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter.
Not a betting pod, but give us one dark horse. No pun intended name.
Oh, I don't know. When it comes to the Derby, like there are so many. I tend to usually go favorites. Let's see. Let me just briefly go through. I'm kind of a renegade guy this year. I think he's the favorite last time I checked. I do really like the Puma. It's a sick name. I will say that my judgment is largely clouded by how cool their names are. But I have seen him run a few times, and I do like him. So I would say if you're looking for a little bit longer shot, go the Puma.
Folks, you heard it here first. Slam the Puma on all the apps that you have. Jordan, as I mentioned, a true pleasure. Listeners, thank you as always. Gentlemen who submitted the questions, thank you guys. Want to tell you guys, we are on YouTube now. So if you want to see the video of the podcast, if you want to see us talking into the microphones, it's not any more sophisticated than that. You are encouraged to do so. Please subscribe while you're there. Whatever streaming platform that you are currently listening on, if you're not already subscribed, please do so. You can follow along the socials. We are at Eat 'em Up Pod across them all. Jordan is at Hosted by Jay Hall. I am at AUrban91. If you have any feedback for the show or would like to suggest a show topic, we are eatemuppod@gmail.com. Traditionally, we have episodes every Wednesday during the season. This one was a little bit delayed as we were dealing with an illness in the Urban household. Appreciate your patience there. So on behalf of Jordan Hall, I'm Alex Urban. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.